What's up, guys? Welcome to the Revolutionary Road. This is NFL Mock Draft, Raiders Edition, my final mock draft of the year. The draft is tomorrow, so this is going to be the way it goes, my final version. This is how I think things are going to play out, or at least what I think could happen. Obviously, who knows? It's anybody's game. But the reason that I put out this draft is because I wanted to update my draft based on the retirement of Marshawn Lynch, or the supposed retirement of Marshawn Lynch, because I'm not sure that he's actually retiring. I'm not convinced. I think that he wants to play in Oakland. I think that he would love to have another year, and I don't think that he is giving up entirely. I think that what he's doing is he wants to retire before the draft so that the Raiders don't feel like they need to keep him, that the Raiders don't feel like they need to, not draft a running back because they have Lynch, so they don't want to push him out. And so in that sense, I think he's doing the honorable thing, retiring before the draft and saying, hey, I'm not going to hold you guys back. If you want to draft a running back, go and draft one. But if you don't, then I think, and if they offer Lynch a chance to play in Oakland for the last season, I think that he'll play. I think he will. I think he cares too much about Oakland to not play. If they offer him like another 1-year deal and they say, hey, we'll give you a couple million, come and play, I think he'll take it. And that's just my opinion, but that's why I kind of changed this draft to see, basically to target Josh Allen or Josh Jacobs. So we're going to be targeting Josh Allen in the first round as well, but I think that targeting Josh Jacobs with the 24th overall pick now makes sense. And I wasn't, all these other mock drafts that showed we should take Josh Jacobs at 24, I was not agreeing with them. But now that I see that Lynch has officially retired or supposedly is retiring, I think we should take Jacobs, or at least target Jacobs at 24. If he falls to 24 or even 27, I think we got to take him. Now, 24 maybe not so much, but if he's at 27, if he's there at 27, we got to pull the trigger. We got to take him. Unfortunately, he might not be the best. He might not be Saquon Barkley. He might not be the best player in this draft class, but Walter Football has him ranked as the 15th best prospect in the draft. So at 24 or 27, he'd be a steal. Now, saying that, PFF has him ranked as the 60th best player in this year's draft, which is crazy. And when you think about it, he had 41% of carries going for either a first down or a touchdown. This is a guy that almost 50% of his carries were either a first down or a touchdown. Think about that. In 2018, he led the country. It's insane. It's something that I think people might be overlooking, that he is a great player. He has great speed, athleticism. He's got skill. He's got vision. He can find the holes. He can get first downs. He can score touchdowns. He's a 3-down linebacker. I think we got to take him at 24 or 27 if he's there, even if PFF kind of has him ranked a lot lower than he should be. Anyway, I think that, obviously this all is dictated by if he's available after 24. Now, at 4, I think we need to take Allen. We need to take Josh Allen. If Josh Allen's not there, as I said in my previous mock draft, we still need to be looking to target Brian Burns. Brian Burns is the 3rd best ranked DE or edge rusher in this draft, following Josh Allen and Bosa, and he's not that far below them. I think that Burns has shown more improvement over the last few years than any edge rusher, and Brian Burns was told that he needed to bulk up at the combine to show that he could truly handle NFL linemen, and guess what? He bulked up. He showed that he added 15 or 20 pounds before the combine, and that shows that he can do what he's told to do. What you ask of him, he can do it, and if he can not only improve there, he can improve on the field. And he's already great on the field, but if he can show that he can improve and listen and be coached, this is a very important thing, and this is why I think that we need to target Brian Burns if we can't get Josh Allen. We need to go for edge rusher with our first pick. Now, if we can't get Allen at number 4, I would understand if we wanted to trade back. If we were like, okay, let's trade back to 6, let's trade back to 10, let's trade back to 13 even with the Dolphins, and let's take Brian Burns, or let's target Brian Burns. He might not even be there at 13. That's how good of a player this guy is. I did a mock draft earlier where he was taken at 3. He was taken by the Jets. They took Burns at number 3 before Allen. Isn't that crazy? Like, it went like Kyler Murray, Bosa, and then Brian Burns. That's crazy, but that's how good of a player he is. Some people even have him ranked higher than Josh Allen. So I think getting Burns even at pick 4 is not the worst thing in the world. I would be okay with it. Getting the third best edge rusher in this class, number 4, when the first 2 are gone, it's not bad, especially when we have 2 more picks and we can go pick up the other players we need at 24 and 27. So that's just my thing about why we should try and target Brian Burns if we cannot get Josh Allen. And our first pick needs to be a defensive edge rusher. It needs to be an edge rusher, not a defensive lineman. We don't need interior defensive lineman. I know people are saying we should get Ed Oliver, Quinnen Williams. Honestly, we need edge rusher. We need it more than anybody else. Even if they're not as good as a Quinnen Williams, we need that position a lot more than we need an edge rusher. Or, sorry, an interior lineman. We need a defensive lineman. We need an edge rusher more than we need an interior defensive lineman. So, as you see here, I have, if Josh Jacobs is not available at 24, then I don't want us to target a running back in the first 2 rounds. It's Josh Jacobs or it's nobody. That's basically the way my mock draft goes. If he's not available at 24, then I take a cornerback, and then I look to either double down defensive end at 27, or I take Irv Smith at 27, and I take the next best defensive edge rusher at 35, right? So this is based on how we should look to fill needs, but also look to take the best player available. So it's not just about, oh, we're going to go stretch for this guy because he's there. Now, some people might say Brian Burns is a stretch at pick 4, but like I said before, I don't think he's going to be there at 24. In fact, I know he won't be there at 24. So unless we can trade up, to get another player, unless we can trade up to get a guy like Burns or a guy like Winovich, Winovich might be there at 24, but I think we need more than just Winovich at edge. I would love us to get Winovich, but I think we need Brian Burns and Winovich if we're going to get a guy like Winovich or even a guy like Montez Sweat. I think we need 2 edge rushers. So that's it for my top 4. As I said, these might be interchangeable. They might go at different times, but these are the players I think we need to target. So Josh Allen, Brian Burns, Josh Jacobs, Byron Murphy, Greedy Williams, Chase Winovich, Montez Sweat, and Irv Smith. Obviously, TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant, the other 2 tight ends, the other Iowa tight ends, I would like us to target them if they're there at 24. But if they're not there at 24, then honestly, we need to just move on and take, as I said, fill the next position of need with the best available player, which I think will be Chase Winovich or Montez Sweat. So now what I will do is go into my sleepers, my 5th to 7th round predictions, who I think we need to target in these rounds. So in the 5th round, one of the guys that I think is going to be the biggest sleeper in this draft is David Long from Michigan. Now, David Long is a guy that is undersized, and he's a great player. He actually had one of the best coverage rates and one of the best PBU rates in college football, but he's undersized. And that's why you see this article by PFF, Michigan CB David Long can overcome size concerns to be a steal in the NFL draft, right? So they basically discuss how he has shown improvement every year. He's become an outstanding player, and he's been able to basically have the top rankings. He's first in yards per covered snap, snaps per reception, passer rating allowed, he's second. Forced incompletion, he's first. First downs allowed, first. This guy only allowed 1 pass for more than 10 yards in his last year in 2018. Only 1 catch for over 10 yards in his senior year. That's insane. So just think about that. A guy you might be able to get in the 5th round, you might be able to target him in the 5th round. And it's a guy that gave up 1 catch last year for more than 10 yards last year. So I think if we can get David Long, I would definitely agree. We need to target him in the 5th round. If he's there, just take him. Even if we get another cornerback, just take him. Double down. Let's get really good in the secondary, and let's shut these guys down. If we have good edge rushers and good cornerbacks that can get interceptions and can break up passes, watch out. And I also really like Nick Nelson as our corner from last year. I like him as a slot. So anyway, the next 2 guys, I should say that the other guys on this draft, other than Bobby Evans from Oklahoma, are all from small schools. So Josh Oliver and Elise Mack, these are guys that I think we target if we don't get Irv Smith. So if we can't get Irv Smith or a good tight end early, I think we need to target a guy like Josh Oliver or a guy like Elise Mack. Now, the reason these guys are going to fall is because they're from small schools. It's not because they're not great players. It's not because they don't have the athleticism or the size that they need. Josh Oliver and Elise Mack are actually very, very good contested catchers. So they're really good in contested catches, and they're big players. They both have very big radiuses. So they're really good catching tight ends. The issue with Mack is that he doesn't have the ability to get a lot of yak. He doesn't have the ability for yards after the catch. He doesn't have that elite speed or that elite get off to be able to accelerate and get past guys. He's usually a really good catcher. So he's really good on third down. He's really good on, getting you off the first down, getting you to the marker and then getting it. But usually then he'll get hit and go down. He's good in the red zone. Elise Mack's the guy that you want to have in the red zone because he's going to make the catch. He's not necessarily going to get more yards, but if you're in the red zone, it doesn't matter, right? So a guy like Josh Oliver, if he's there, might be better because I think that he has the ability to get the yak. He has the ability to have all the attributes that you would need to be a starting NFL tight end. He's just from a small school, San Jose State. So it's one of those that, and PFF has him as one of their top sleepers. So I think that targeting him in the 5th round will be excellent. It will give us the ability to fill a need in the late round if we can't get a tight end early. So the other guys here is linebackers, Bobby Evans and linebackers Tavon Coney and Joe Gillis Harris. These guys are basically very, very good players. They just need to learn how to be a little more disciplined on the field and how to build themselves to be stronger. They just need to get stronger, basically, put on some weight. Not necessarily Coney, but more Gillis Harris needs to bulk up. So Bobby Evans, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma, he is a guy that I think could be a top 5 offensive lineman in this class. He's a tackle, but I think that we could put him in at guard. I really think so. Or not, we could shift, Colton Miller to guard, or maybe not, in that sense. But I think that getting a guy like that can really solidify our offensive line. And that's something that we should be looking to target. If we can get him in the 5th round or 6th round, I don't see why we wouldn't do it, Anyway, so those are the guys I think we should target earlier. Now, after that, these are the guys we should looking to target towards maybe the late 6th or 7th. But a guy like Max Crosby from Eastern Michigan, again, he's from a smaller school, so I think he might fall. But he maybe is late 5th round. If we can get him in the 5th round, I think that might be good too. Maybe if we don't get 2 good edge rushers early, we get a guy like Max Crosby and maybe Josh Allen. I think that would be a really good fit for our team, and it would give us a lot of depth at our lineman, defense, and an edge rusher. So the other guy I have here, Deontay Johnson, wide receiver from Toledo. He's actually just a really good route runner, and again, with a lot of times I reference PFF, but it's because I trust their system. I think their system is one of the best. They do more analysis. They watch more tape than almost anybody. So I think that they have a really good understanding of what they're doing. So that's why I usually go with their rankings over others. But I'm not saying they're the best. I'm just saying I like them. So, go with what you want. But they have Crosby as actually one of the best edge rushers. And Deontay Johnson, they have him as one of their top sleepers. And they say he could be a, number 2, starting number 2 in the league. So if we can get a guy like Johnson to match with Antonio Brown and Aitman and even Ryan Grant and Tyrell Williams, that would be an insane number of wide receivers that we're just hitting you from all over. And we could use a really solid route runner. So that's one of the reasons why I put him on there. Now, I don't necessarily think that's something we should be targeting, but anyway. So the big position I think we need to target, though, is interior offensive linemen, so like guards, Javon Patterson and John Baker. John Baker could be one of the best players and the late round players from a smaller school. Boston College had one of the best lines in college football, so he's a guy that we need to be looking at late. Same with Jimmy Moreland. Jimmy Moreland is one of the top 10, cornerbacks in this draft, and yet he might fall to the 6th, 7th round. So if we can pick him up in the 7th round, I did a mock the other day, and I picked him up in the 7th round. So if we can do that, I think we go for him. A guy like Jimmy Moreland, 7th round, I'll take it. So anyway, that's my mock draft. You see Marquise Blair, maybe a safety. I don't necessarily think we need another safety, but hey, if he's there, let's take him. Let's get some depth, and let's see what happens. I can't wait for the draft. let's see what happens. But anyway, hopefully you guys have a great day. Like, subscribe, feel free to comment.